what advice for a man in his 20s who wants to get a modern traditional relationship. And so, part of that is also the selection of the woman, right? It's like you should be looking for a woman that's 5 to 10 years younger than you. Do you need to have failed experiments? Like is that,
It's the best teacher.
Is it though? Like instead though, you can have a not failed experiment be the best teacher, right? He can be successful in shaping that relationship and leading it and learning as he's going. If he's already done all this work in his 20s to establish himself, like he's not going to, from the get-go, he gets into his first relationship, he's dating a woman. Is he going to make a ton of mistakes? Yes, of course. You can't substitute that. You're going to have to gain that experience. So,
but I guess I will add, the good thing is that if a guy hasn't been in a relationship, I guess, is that he's trainable. And I mean that in the way of he hasn't had to do things in a relationship a certain way before and things like that. And I don't mean like a woman is the boss of it,
right,
but she can help transform the relationship into also like what she wants, obviously within reason. Like he's developed his masculine, persona of a man, but she can also help him in learning about a relationship in a way to harbor the type of relationship that she wants.
Yeah.
And she obviously has to be someone that is in her feminine and has learned a lot herself.
Right.
But I think that if you do the work in your 20s as a man, you wouldn't settle for anything less than that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, well, and so it's like, because the episode is what advice for a man in his 20s who wants to get a modern traditional relationship. And so, part of that is also the selection of the woman, right? It's like you should be looking for a woman that's 5 to 10 years younger than you. That's what you should be looking for as a man, right? In this case, you've done your work. So that might mean that if you're in your 30s, that's why I'm also pushing the date back further, right? For men, that's why I'm saying mid 30s is where I'd like to see you. Like 30 is okay, but if you're 30, that means you might be dating a woman from 20 to 25. Okay.
Yeah. But
so hold on, if you're going to date a woman that's 20 to 25, seriously, you better know what the fuck you're doing as a man. Like you better be absolutely secure in your masculinity, right? So that's why I'm saying if you're 30 and you're there, okay, fine. But maybe you're actually better off at 35, where you're dating a woman that's maybe 25 to 30. Okay, that's something that maybe you're going to be able to handle a lot better, right? And then, hey, when you get up to 40, now you're dating a woman that might be 30 to 35. Okay, so there's time for you as a man to mature and develop. But if you want to go with the wild card 20 to 25, you better be, like at 30, you better be on your shit. Like you better be the man, because you're not going to have a successful relationship unless you are.
I think they could start at 30 because, like you were talking about in the car,
like to get experience.
Your first one is probably not going to be the person that you marry. It's not saying that that's 100% how it goes all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't see any problem with starting if you feel like you've developed yourself as a man and you're financially ready, starting at 30, because you probably won't find the girl you're going to marry for a few years anyway. So, and you're getting more experience, real life experience. And then by the time you meet your wife, you don't have to be like, hey, you're my first relationship, let's get married.
But it could be too. Like it just depends. Like, like I can see both sides of it in the sense that, like, do you need to have failed experiments? Like is that,
it's the best teacher.
Is it though? Like instead though, you can have a not failed experiment be the best teacher, right? So, for instance, what I'm talking about is that you can have before you even get into a committed relationship, right? You're still dating people, and you're dating, and that is sort of your trial period, right? So, if you're actually committing to one woman, you should have enough confidence and knowledge in that woman that it's almost like you're because when you're committing to a woman with this viewpoint of this modern traditional relationship as a man, what you're saying is that I believe this woman will move on to marriage. Like, because in a year, right, that like our timelines that we talk about is like, you should be pretty much engaged in a year.
If they're the right person. Like you don't have to get engaged after a year if you're like, I don't think this is right.
But as a man, and again, this is advice coming, from a man to a man, is that it doesn't matter as much as what you're starting with for a woman, in the sense that you are the gardener. So, because guys are always, and this is the problem that a lot of guys have, is they're like, okay, I just need to find a better woman. Obviously I got a broken woman, right? And that's why she's acts like a bitch, or she's naggy or whatever. And it's like, okay, perhaps that's the case, but it's probably like, where can I see how often are you watering this garden? Like what fertilizer are you putting in there? It's like, are you, what are you doing? Let's look at that first and see, because most women are not broken women. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, the feminine is pure by itself. It doesn't need to be cured. It doesn't need to be developed. Like it's there. It exists in its full essence from the.
You have to uncover it.
Right. When a woman is born, she's born with that. A man has to build his masculinity, and so most women are not broken. I'm not saying that there aren't any. There's certainly some that the world has broken them or whatever. But what I'm saying is that a man, if he knows and understands masculinity and is secure in himself, he can be the gardener, and he can still learn in that relationship as he's doing it, but he can be successful in shaping that relationship and leading it and learning as he's going. If he's already done all this work in his 20s to establish himself, like he's not going to, from the get-go, he gets into his first relationship, he's dating a woman. Is he going to make a ton of mistakes? Yes, of course. So he's not going to, you can't substitute that. You're going to have to gain that experience. But it doesn't mean that he has to have a failed relationship and then move on to another failed relationship and then have a good one. He can just learn in that relationship.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because this man said he's never been in love and he's never been heartbroken.
Right.
So he doesn't even know what those feelings feel like.
Right.
And that is also something that is hard to be experiencing with someone for the first time at a older age. And he doesn't know how he's going to react, really, because he's never felt it. And I don't care what book he reads. I don't care what video he watches. He has no idea how he's going to act in love and how he's going to act when his heart is broken. And the thing is that it could be fine. And if he's done a lot of work, sure. But also the problem I have is a problem that we talked about before too, is that on your own, you can feel like you've worked on every single thing that you've ever needed to work on and you're good. And life is great. And you're like so wise and smart and you know all this stuff. And this guy he is very smart based on his email. But you do not know what is going to come out of the deepest, darkest depths of your soul and who you are when you get in a relationship.
But let me ask you this question. What's the purpose of a relationship?
What's the purpose of a relationship? I feel like it's experiencing life with someone that you care the most about.
I think it's that. But but the answer I was looking for is to grow. It's like to learn those things that you're talking about, right? Because that, like, you cannot fully develop
experiencing life.
And that is, it's but you cannot fully develop yourself, just like you said, because I agree with you 100%, unless you're in a relationship, because you think you'll have developed yourself, but you'll learn it. And so my point is that, I get what you're saying, and that's exactly what I'm saying, is that's the reason, is that that's the purpose of the relationship. It's not, you're not already hatched and you're ready to go. Like, you're coming to this relationship, and maybe he doesn't have the experience, but that's the reason for getting in the relationship, is to develop and grow yourself as you're with this person. And if you've done a lot of the groundwork and you know what you're doing, you know why you're there. Again, like, guys that are listening to us should be understanding that the purpose of a relationship is the growth that they're going to see together. And so if that's your purpose, then when you approach it, even if you might not know these things, you don't have this experience, you see these as learning opportunities, correction opportunities, where you can learn things and you can start to become the man that you are only a seed of at this point, right? And develop into that man. And that woman is going to help you grow. And so you're selecting a woman to help you grow. So that selection should be one that you make, with this in mind. I don't think you have to go through 2 or 3. I think you can do that with one. If you have this mindset,
get the right one.
Right.
I mean, I do.
Well, there is no right one. That's what I'm saying, is that for a man, it's for a woman, she better pick the right one. If we're giving this advice to a woman, women should not listen to anything we're saying because it does not apply to you at all. Because a woman, you better pick the right guy. You're not going to shape the guy. Like, you better pick the right guy. There's things you can do to make your relationship and marriage better for sure. But as a man, it doesn't matter as much the woman that you pick because you will shape her more than any other force in her life. And that's true. And you will lead the relationship. And so I'm not saying that a woman that you pick shouldn't be special, but all women are special. Like, the feminine is special in its attribute. So it's not as critical. It's critical that the man understand what he's undertaking and realizing that he is not to blame her. It's his responsibility.
Yeah.
Better than perfect, we stay